It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think I heard.
We live, Chris?
Yep, everybody got lockjaw.
No, I was just checking.
I didn't know we
checking the phone to
live.
see to turn my ringer off.
Okay, we're here with Nathan and Joey from Dixie Doggers
What's
podcast.
happening?
Probably, I think you guys were probably the first Hog Dog podcast, weren't you?
I don't.
I think so.
I think you
Yeah,
were.
that just because at first that's all we were doing were just hunting dogs, and then we got into a little bit of the vaping stuff.
Yeah, but I think you guys were the first strictly Hog Dog podcast that was out there.
Probably so. I don't know of any others, but we just took it real slow. We didn't get in a big hurry. We didn't put out many episodes.
How
Until
many?
When did you
How many
start,
did you put
Joey?
out so far, you think?
Shoot,
I think we started.
This is 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, I think this is our fourth year.
Yeah, fourth year.
That's a different crowd to try to break into. I think you guys had it figured out because you guys are hog doggers, so you kind of had the inside loop.
Yeah, they didn't have to break into anything. They were
they were already in. They were in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I got to tell everybody, so we do a sound check at an hour before the show.
And you ruin all the good content.
Oh,
that's
man.
That's why I stayed out. That's exactly why I stayed out.
We have already had a badass podcast that was not recorded.
Yeah.
Joey and I, we're not going to try to recreate it. It's impossible. But me and Joey have always kind of shared in the sense that we both like hog dogs that aren't typical. We both come at hog dogs from the outside, and we enjoy crossing dogs in that aren't typical thought of as hog dogs, and we like I say, it's not on tape, but we had a badass hour before this that was all about that.
And we got into a pretty good bit of stuff there.
Yeah. F1s, F2s, F1As, F1Bs.
Yeah. And I mean, I barely know my alphabet, so I mean, we did pretty good on that. Just keep.
Yeah, all you got to do is F, A, B, and I don't know if C really comes into it.
Well, it depends on if you're breeding golden doodles or not. There's a whole different setup for golden doodles.
But we brought this up because, I've spoken about it on here before. But so I messed around for about 10 years with Airedale, crossing Airedales to hounds. So I quit that probably 2 years ago, and I've got bitch dogs on chains that are in heat right now. And I come home tonight, and there is this good-looking Airedale cross dog running my yard. And he is 100%, there's no question, he's from my shit. He looks like a male I had. He acts like a female I had. And he didn't have a collar on. He's got a collar on now, and he's at the end of a chain.
Got him locked down.
Got him locked down.
You did put a collar on that thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's on the end of it.
When Ed was brought it up, I was like, I literally had just seen it on Facebook, and I was like, dude, that is one of the best looking dogs.
He looks good.
And I was like, that's Airedale and some shit. I don't know what kind, but it's Airedale and some shit.
I'm pretty sure it's half Airedale, quarter Walker, quarter Plot.
It ought to be a good one.
Yeah, like I say, he looks like he's got the size and the bone structure of this male I had, and he's got the temperament or whatever of this female that I had. Super friendly, but I mean, of all the years I was breeding, he was what I was after and never got, and then just shows up in my house. So
I mean, it's a,
he's going
but
to
it's
see
a
a pig.
use. You said something about the bone structure. That was one of the most important. And at first, I didn't realize how important it was in the program that we were doing. And that turned out to be one of the biggest traits that I wound up looking for was the bone structure, the bone mass, the bone density in the dogs, especially on the front legs, the forelegs. And
Yeah,
So
I mean,
now you guys are going to have to recreate the whole conversation you had beforehand because
it's
I have no
impossible.
idea what time what Joey's talking about.
Well, I mean, he's just talking about. I mean, so
well,
when
I
I
mean,
look,
that's just in any of it now. That's what I look. That's what I really look for. I'm gonna look at a dog's front legs. I want to see. I mean, whether it's a hound, a cur, or a bird dog, or whatever, I want to see big, thick bones.
What would Richard Reynolds say?
Yeah, like Mr. Reynolds. I mean, he's a judge in every kind of. You've met him before, haven't you, Ed?
yeah,
Okay. Richard Reynolds says they should look like fucking fence posts. That's his exact words.
yeah. Well, I mean,
that's how
Airedale,
they should look.
and that's one of the things. I mean, what really drew me into him was hunting behind an unknown crossed up Airedale that was just one of the best hog dogs I've ever seen. But beyond that, like the bone structure, the general conformation of an Airedale, to me, is the perfect dog.
Yeah.
I mean, they're thick boned. Uh, they're probably out there, but I've never seen one that stood cat footed. They got a big wide foot, which distributes body weight.
Tough pads, too.
Oh,
Very tough.
I've never seen one that blew a pad.
Now, I've never had them in 20 years. Never had one fill a pad.
Yeah.
They're
They
just
have-
athletic. They're
Yes.
athletic as I mean.
Yes.
Larry
They're-
Anderson had 2 Airedales, and we would go out and he would drop them out with when we were roading dogs and stuff. And they'd just be like cruising along, skipping across the top of the sagebrush, just looking back like, this is fun, you know.
Yeah.
And all the other hounds are leaning into it and trying to run, and they're just like skipping along.
They got a gait. It's
Yeah.
like a lope. I guess. you
Well,
would
like I was talking about that one of the best hog dogs I've ever seen. That was Airedale something. She had the most stamina
say. Oh yeah.
of any dog I've ever seen. I mean, we could hunt from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. or to 6 a.m.
Mhm.
And them cur dogs, you know, it was wearing on them. She was ready. She was ready to go at 6 a.m. as she'd been at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
I got to say, Al, you threw that comment up there about Nathan.
Which one?
Yeah.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
When he
Talked
first
about
got
that
on there, I
earlier.
said, "What is Nathan in jail?"
Yeah, and we're sitting right beside each other. That's the exterior wall, and I'm on the other side of the table.
Don't lie to
Oh,
us.
man.
Don't
And see,
lie to us.
everybody knew that if I was sitting behind them blocks, they would really think I was getting my phone call. Everybody
Yep.
knows that. They would
I'm
be
pretty-
like, "Yeah, Joey's in jail." So
I'm pretty sure Nathan's in jail.
We got this one too. Roy's already asked. You didn't get that banner because of me, did you? I'm not sure. I'll sign. I'll sign it for you.
that's
Yeah.
Roy Farabee.
Yeah,
Irby.
yeah. Here, I got one for Roy too, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You got what?
I got a comment for Roy.
get him.
Shoot it.
Tell him that. Damn, Roy. Damn, Roy, he jackassed you, bud. Okay, I'll take it easy on my man.
There's no coming back.
Roy got the first jackass banner for the podcast. So there you
No,
go.
you
Well,
gave one to
here's the
Plumber
thing.
and joking last week.
No,
Here's
this
the thing.
just this episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
see,
episode.
he's got the jackass before, ain't he?
No, Roy's
He
never
has
got
for
the
me.
jackass.
He,
Oh.
he gets it from me. I love Roy. Like, for real, that's my partner right there. See that little Airedale looking dog he's got? A-dog?
Oh, I know. That's
my
what I was
dog,
going to
too.
ask. Look at that Airedale thing he's hunting over there. That's a
That's
that's
a
a
high.
Josh. That's a Haida Terrier from
That's
Josh
an
Neff.
Adolf, and I got to put my hands on that dog at Uncle Earl's this year, and that really showed a lot about what Josh and them are doing in the program that he's working with. I mean, that is a phenomenal specimen for all bullshit aside. It really is.
Fence post.
Yeah, it's a nice dog, but the only way it'd be nicer if it was in Alabama hanging on a hog.
That dog's name's Adolf.
Yeah, Adolf.
There was another famous jag named Adolf.
Yeah.
Who had that?
Was it Clay?
Yeah, that's one of ours.
Yeah, I thought Clay had it all.
Who?
Aaron brought him out to. I think Aaron brought him to Tyler one time.
Yeah.
And then you might be talking about Justin Hensley. Justin Hensley had one named Adolf that was a badass.
Yeah. That's
From
who.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was also
That was a bad little dude right there.
with several
When
real
is
good
the-
Adolfs.
When is the Texas Terrier trial?
They're always in
It's in
October. Man, I don't
October.
even know. I haven't got the date.
It's got to be
I haven't
coming up.
either.
It's got to be coming
I mean,
up.
like,
Check the Facebook page.
well, Charles Kett, he called me a couple of weeks ago and told me that he told me I needed to check on some stuff and get with Mr. James and them. And I told him, I was like, hey, you need to call them and tell them what's going on or whatever it was. I don't know what it was.
Last year, usually it's in October.
Yeah,
So
usually it's the middle of October.
Last year they had it when me and Chris were in New Mexico bear hunting.
Oh,
and I
that's
missed
right.
it.
Yeah. Because
And it's
we didn't
First
make
time I
it.
missed it in probably 10 years, but
Same-
I don't want
same
to miss
with
it
us.
this year. You
Yeah,
didn't go?
No, we missed it too. They changed it. They changed the dates on us. I don't even remember what happened, but I think Mr. Paul had to change the dates.
Yeah,
That's
let's
what-
get Paul on the line. We need to pin Paul down and find out what the
Yeah,
heck's going on.
I don't know because we definitely need to know when that is. That is a good time. That's a good.
That is probably so. I've been to a million dog trials over the years. That is that's my all time favorite. Like I say, I haven't missed it in.
That's
I
the
don't know,
only
the first
time
one I
know
went
of.
to was 2013,
Mhm.
and I missed it last year, and I just had to because we was bear hunting.
I started going. I think the second year they had it, and I've only missed two. One was last year, and like I said, they just changed the dates, and we already had so much scheduled because we were already traveling, because we got the store up and going and all that stuff, and we already had dates and everything. But like I said, as far as having a good time, where ego is set aside, truly, it's about the dogs and
We'll
about
get
just
the-
fellowship and hanging out.
We should get the dates thrown up here before we get off the air, but
Yeah. Did you
I've
see
told
anything?
No, I didn't see anything in the group posted.
I've told people
I'll text Paul right quick. Ask him.
for umpteen years, if you're a dog person, even if
Can't
you don't
go
have
wrong.
terriers, you should go to that trial
Yes.
because it's the most pure dog trial that I've ever been to. I mean, it is about the dogs. There's not much ego there,
That's right.
and
No, we've all got a bunch of Yog Terriers. It's just like let's just have fun.
yeah, that's
you know-
that's what it is. It's not even Yog Terriers; it's just terriers.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
it's put on by that North American Hunting Terrier
Yeah,
Association.
the AHTA.
Yeah, James Mills, which is primarily a Yog Terrier group, but
primarily, but you can bring
Oh,
any
yeah.
type of terrier
They have
there.
the SB
you can
class,
bring
don't they?
anything.
We had a
Uh,
couple of years where we didn't. I guess I'd say politics kind of came into play. I've been on the national board of directors for years, and so it was like the Patterdale guys. They were involved in it, and we were all competing together. And some of the Yog Terrier guys, they were upset because they got beat by a different breed. That's all it came down to. That's that's what happened.
Yeah.
And
We used to have the trials at the same time.
yeah, we had at the same time had them together. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we separated everything, and then it was strictly Yog Terriers. Man, it was almost like a stalemate. Man, it was just everybody was just kind of looking at each other like, man, what are we doing? This is not.
Yeah, I
how we
wish
started
I
this.
wish it would go back to more open.
Yeah, and it has been the past few years. It's a lot more open. The Jack Russell Club.
Yeah, they have the SOB class.
Yeah,
So
they got
great.
the SOB, some other breed,
Yeah.
and like guys like me, Cody Fritz, Dave Williams, guys that's been doing it a long time. A lot of us we don't accept any kind of trophies or awards or anything. We just go to have fun. I mean, I'm not saying our dogs are that good, but even if they place, we don't accept it because there's a newcomer that might have drove from Canada and let them get an award. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I liked about
the
it.
ego is truly set aside.
It was so pure, and so like you go to a hog bay, and there's so much money on the line that people won't give away their secrets.
Mm-hmm.
At the Terrier trials, there's no money. There's no money involved.
No.
So I've been there many years when somebody from Canada or Idaho or Kentucky.
We had them from Switzerland that one year.
Yeah, Switzerland. So people will show up, and it'll be Friday night, and they'll be like, "Well, my dog's never seen a pig," and it'll be like, "Well, shit, let's run a pig in that pen, and let's bring your dog in and practice them." And people give them pointers, and that's so like that's what I mean when I say it's so pure. It goes back to the dogs, and there's so little ego at that trial.
All the guys that have hog dogs that run the Jags as hog dogs, I don't know of anybody in the past probably 6 or 8 years that has even accepted an award in the bay pen. You know what I mean? Like if we got hog dogs, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But now I will say this: I have seen dogs that have not ever seen a hog come in there and spank their ass.
They do great.
Dave Williams did it a couple of times with his with Bruce and Apollo, and Tyler Slade with his little dog Mouse. That's when I had to. I don't know if you were there when I had to wear the silkies.
Yeah.
Those little.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah, that was pretty rough, brother. They were a size small, and I'm a size not small.
You're not a size small.
No, and those were at one time they were small, and it took about 15 minutes of me back there at the trailer. I had to get duct tape and all that and put parts back up, So but I mean, I'm sorry y'all had to see that, but it was all in good fun. We had a good time.
Yeah.
Cody Fritz came by and said, "You don't have a hair on your ass if you don't bay a dog wearing those silkies in your boots."
Yeah, I remember that.
Did you see when Chad Reynolds put the T-Rex?
I was there with the silkies.
That was the same year.
Yeah, I'm glad Chad had the T-Rex because it took the attention off of me. It was pretty bad. I'm serious. It was just pretty rough.
Yeah, but like I say, it's a super fun event, and like I say, even if you don't own a Terrier, if you're a dog man, I promise, if you come out there, it's blown my mind for 10 years. Like it's totally.
You're probably going to own a Terrier before you leave, though. Somebody will give you one. They'll stick one in your pocket and be like, "Here, take." If they see that you want to do this, you want to be involved.
It's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, there's been a few times I've been there and
done a lot of dog swapping there.
Yeah, we always cook. I mean, there's been several times you brought the big black pot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Cody Fritz cooked a possum there one time.
Oh yeah,
I remember.
Good. Oh yeah.
I was like, this
Cody
is not
said, "That's
chicken."
We didn't tell it. We didn't tell everybody it was a possum.
They ate. I'm talking about they were sopping it up.
Hey, the best.
It was good though.
I don't remember what year it was, but I was there one year, and I was camping out there, and I got up with the sun, and Cody Fritz was there, and Cody been trapping coons for the treeing contest. I think the treeing contest was the day before, so he still had some coons in a trap, but didn't need them. and it was about sun up, and they got a woman's porta potty and a man's porta potty. So Cody says, "Man, let's go put this coon in the woman's porta potty."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "That sounds like a lot of fun." And where I was camped was right across. I mean, I could make it. I was right across from the porta potties. So we go put this coon in the woman's porta potty, and so then I just sat me up a chair, and I'm just like waiting for a woman to go in that porta potty. And I swear, I mean, on a normal morning, it would have been busy. No woman come to that porta potty, and it was probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, and Cody's sitting there by me, and he's like, "Man, Ed, we got to go get that coon out of that porta potty." He started having second thoughts about it. I was like, "No, Cody, just leave it in there. Leave it in there. Like, we ain't had nobody jump in there yet." And his guilt started getting to him, and he went in there and let it out. But I was so disappointed. I sat there all morning waiting for a woman to go in that porta potty.
Yeah,
and
right
meet
after he got it out, my sister walked in there.
Did he? Was it?
He walked out, he got it, and she went in and she looked, she said, "Was that coon in there?" I was like, "I don't know," which I did. I was sitting there, I was like, I wasn't going to tell. We call her Big Burger for a reason. You know what I mean? That's not her name, but that's what we call her. And I was kind of feared for Cody's life at that time. I was like,
She would have been pissed.
yeah, she would have been. It would, but it would have been hilarious.
It'd have been funny. I was sitting there with my phone out, ready to hit record if a woman walked in there.
Yeah. I've had like you said, probably the best times at any trials have been there.
Yeah.
Every time has been a great time.
That's where I met Seth Cobb.
Sorry, guys. Hit the wrong button.
I met Seth Cobb at Terrier trials quite a few years ago. Him and his dad used to come, and he lives probably an hour away from me in Arkansas, and we became really good friends from that event.
Yes, Seth is he's a solid dude for sure.
Seth is super cool.
Yeah, that's where I met him out there, and been friends with him ever since. That's another reason why I hate missing him, is because that's the only time I get to really visit with like guys like him or Dave Williams or Tyler Slayton and them. Everybody lives so far apart.
Yeah.
And so
and it's kind of
guys are driving 15 plus hours.
Oh yeah, it's kind of changed a little bit over the years. Last couple times I've been there, I've seen a lot more dog harnesses.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it's still super cool, and I won't miss it. I imagine if I'm 90 years old and I can still get around, I'm still going to be going there.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of had a different point of view on having a lot of the people with show dogs when they first started coming in. A lot of women in their 60s and 70s were bringing little border terriers or little Irish terriers or Patterdales or whatever. And I was like, man, let me tell you something, buddy. Them women, they know what a hard dog is, and they know how to work a dog. It ain't. Yeah. It blew my mind at what their standards actually were. That dog has to win in the show ring, but it has to perform as well. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, this is what I'm talking. That's what we need.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pull from all venues. So like I said, I missed it last year, but the year before that, and I'm terrible with names, I can't remember her name, but there was an older lady from Canada that was there, and she had rat terriers.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yes.
They were pretty gamey dogs.
I was trying to remember her name. Okay, I just got a date. D. St. Albans said October 25th through 27th.
Okay.
So they moved it later in October.
Yep.
Okay, I just got the date, y'all. So if y'all want to experience that, the Boar's Nest in Tyler, Texas, that's where it's happening.
Don't miss it. Like
No,
if you can,
don't
if you
miss
can, if you can swing it, like I say, even if you're not a terrier person, I promise you'll have a good time. It's super
Yeah,
pure. Do you remember the? Do you remember Joey? Do you remember the year that Jake was having his
yes.
bay, and it coincided with Tyler with the terrier trials.
Oh yeah.
So some terrier trial, and Jake was having a terrier class. So some terrier guys left the
Mhm.
terrier trial and drove down to Jake's
Yep.
in Koontz, Texas.
I think William Burns, and Cody Fritz. I want to say that they placed in the top three
Oh yeah,
in the open, and
in the
they won
open bay, in the
in the
open bay.
open bay, in the pro bay, and they won the Terrier bay
Yeah,
because I think Cody was still baying that Mills. No, it was Ryan Goodman because Ryan Goodman uh, had that Mills dog, that little dog named Mills.
yeah,
And I knew I didn't like the little small builds and all that, but Cody and Ryan took that little dog all over the place, and they were bringing stacks of green paper that said hundreds on it. And so I talked to Ryan one day, and I wound up going to Tyler, Texas, and that little dog came back to Alabama.
yeah,
And we tore the East Coast up bad. Like, I mean, they were not ready for that little dude. They laughed their ass off when I'd show up, and I was like, that's all right. Go ahead and laugh.
yeah. See if you're
And
laughing later.
yeah, and then it was over. I think he's in the plot book. I think he was in there 8 times that one year
Yeah.
that we won out Hickory Crossing with him at the plot day.
Either made it perfect, caught out, or got injured.
Yeah, he's a mess. He was a mess. But yeah, like you said, it's a good time. Definitely,
Definitely a good time.
people need to go see it. There's the Boars and Broads.
Yeah.
What do
You
you
got
think
the rich-
about? What
we
do you
got-
think about those guys?
Well, they've got the rich and the famous in the house.
Yeah, they're
Those are-
super.
They're
Yeah,
they-
celebrities.
Oh yeah.
celebrities.
Celebrities. The boys.
Yeah.
That's
No
who
doubt.
that is. Those are my guys. Those are my
They're-
buddies.
They're good
Those guys have figured out how to make dog hunting look fun. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we know it's fun, but the way they put it on TikTok and on social media, I mean, these guys like put an exclamation point behind fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
when I first kind of saw what they were doing,
I was like, oh,
I messaged Carter and I was like, dude. So like I come from the magazine side, which is like the old school side, and I told Carter, I was like, you know, I mean, I saw the writing on the wall. I'm like, you guys are, this is the future.
mm-hmm.
Like, you guys are the future. And we've tried to, you know, mix it up a bit. I mean, Boars and Broads does a column in our magazine. They're grateful for it, but I'm more grateful than they are. Like I say, I mean, that's the future. I mean, that really is the future. It's kind of this like,
Yeah.
It's not about a 50-page magazine. It's about a 50-second video.
What are you guys doing with Tuskers? I saw a thing the other day where you guys are going to start doing recorded interviews and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to try to, you know, it's probably, you know, it's like a last-ditch effort, really. I mean, to be totally honest, you know, I mean, it's like trying to keep the print magazine world somewhat relevant. And
We need that. Like
The
we
way-
genuinely need that. These,
way that-
these younger
the way that-
people, they don't have the stuff like we did. And which Ed, I've sent you pictures of some of the books and magazines I've got from like 1800s and the early 1900s.
yeah,
And these things they look like they're brand new because somebody took care of them, and it's history, and it's passed along. What we're doing right now is history, of course, but clicking it as a video, to me, it doesn't have the nostalgia as
It's-
opening a book.
It's
That's
history
amazing.
until China unplugs us.
Yeah,
I mean, it
that-
really
you're
is.
right.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
Until somebody drops an EMP grenade and we're all, we lose all this stuff.
Mhm.
I mean,
I'll
if somebody
give
drops
you- I'll
an
give
EMP,
you-
I'm not concerned with magazines or whatever. But so yeah, so I'm old enough to remember when magazines were like that new, not new, because I mean, like Joey says, I mean, he
The
sent me
hell?
pictures of
We're gonna
magazines
have
from
to
the
mute.
1800s.
We're gonna have
No,
to
it's
mute
just-
Joey.
It's just
Nathan, get him in line over there from
It's
the
this-
5th floor.
Catahoula trying to crawl up my
Yeah.
lap.
Eminem
He
was
needs
trying to
to be in
call in his lap.
solitary.
Yeah, I'm gonna have, Nate put me in lockdown.
You'll lock him down.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, I have a soft spot for that, print media. I think it doesn't have that instant gratification that society is so focused on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so yeah, Joey has sent me pictures of magazines literally from the 19th century, the 1800s,
Yeah.
Of dog hunting in print, in the print world. Do you think that in 2020 or 2200,
Yeah.
that somebody is going to reach out to somebody with some 50-second video from 2020?
That's the thing. What's next? I mean, do we know that
I
that's
doubt
even? Yeah, exactly. But
Uh,
those will always, like I said, I hope those will always be here. Like having the magazine. That's why we got to keep Tuskers. It's got to stay there.
well, I
Like
mean,
these young
I mean,
guys, they
to
they
be
need
total-
to be stated in stuff.
Nathan, I got a question for you
All right.
because I am really struggling with this.
when do you bail out?
Huh?
When did he bail out?
No, so I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about, and this is me trying to understand how old are you, Nathan?
I'm 23.
23 years old. Okay.
Yeah. I turned 24 Friday.
All right. Well, happy birthday coming
Thank
up.
you. Thank you.
So like my wife kept her grandmother's wedding dress. She's kept it because it was nostalgic. Both of my daughters are married. We're cleaning out the house. We're doing different stuff. And it's like, what do you want us to do with these wedding dresses? And both our daughters are like, well, take them to the free store, and let somebody else do it. And my wife's like, you don't want to keep these? You don't want to hang on to these for nostalgia or collectibles or whatever? And she's like, Mom, we didn't wear your dress. What makes you think our kids are going to wear our dress? Is that something that?
I wore my wife's grandfather's overalls yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, I wore them
There
yesterday.
you go.
So,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about
Now,
it.
now tell them what happened though. These younger guys were making fun of him.
Oh yeah.
Said, calling
For
him
what?
the engineer. He was like, choo 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 choo.
Oh, they were
I'm
pinstripe.
sorry.
Oh, they're
That's
hickory
what
stripe.
I'm
They were
saying.
hickory stripe.
They're
boy.
they're
Pimpin'.
pinstripes.
They look good.
Overalls.
Yeah.
I ain't got
Hell
no
yeah.
shame. He was talking about train conductor. I said, I run a train on your mom, and then he didn't think it was so funny. So,
Oh,
but I
man.
mean, that's how I feel. My wife and I, we inherited her grandparents' house. So we're going through, and their house was built in 74, and they have crammed it full since then. And so, like, I was going through her grandpa's old record collection, and I found, like, the Yazoo County Jerry Clower record. So I'm like,
Oh,
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
none of his record players work. They were all broke. So now I got to get one because I'm like, I got to have this. I found Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn. I was like, yes, some good stuff.
Forget that. You got Jerry Clower on.
Yeah.
Vinyl.
The first.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Cherry
Yeah,
Flat,
full
Cherry
jacket and
Flat.
everything. I was like, man, that's the thing about it.
I feel like
It's-
I won the lottery.
Without having that nostalgia factor, those mean nothing.
Yeah.
Unless somebody has been passed on inherently.
I
That's a
probably wear
reflection on you, Joey.
I probably wear hand-me-down clothes at least once or twice a week, whether it be my dad's or somebody, grandpa,
Mhm.
uncle, somebody, a jacket, overall, something.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that I'm getting at is, it ties in perfectly to that Jerry Clower vinyl. So, I mean, that's something physical that you can hold.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the digital age we're in, there's nothing physical to hold.
No.
So, as the player for that digital media that we have today, fades out, all that information that it holds becomes unplayable. It disappears.
Yeah.
I always say like the oxymoron is that we have a phone / camera in our pocket all the time. But when you smash your phone, run over your phone, I mean, there's the cloud and stuff. I don't really understand it, but I don't use it. So when I demolish a phone, all the photos that I had are gone. They're gone. But I can pick up my photo albums from 20 years ago, and we didn't have a camera on us all the time. But when we had a camera, we developed those into physical pictures, which we hold. They're not, they're not in some cloud. They're not in some digital age. They're something physical I can hold.
But does that come from a mistrust? I mean, I think
not a mistrust as much as
I don't trust whoever's in control of the cloud. I don't trust them. That's my deal.
Well, I mean, for me, it's not really a mistrust. It's just that, like I say, I understand the cloud. I don't participate.
Well, you don't understand the cloud too well if you think you smashed your phone and all your photos are gone.
Well, I mean, I don't even know my password to the cloud. So,
see,
I had all
that's what
mine
I'm saying.
I had all mine saved to the cloud, and I have absolutely none of them. I lost my phone, and
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You lose your phone. Where did they go?
You forget a password, and that's what. So,
I bet Nathan knows how to access the cloud.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I know how to access the cloud.
Nathan, yeah. So talk to Joey. He's right across the room.
Well, it didn't say. No, I mean I accessed the cloud, but it didn't.
That was the issue with the account.
It didn't save it.
No, it did not. 3,000.
I think his sync settings might have been messed up. Sometimes, like
there you go.
Like Google
Cloud on me.
But hey, it's just that's the best thing about technology is the shit just don't work.
I'm Fred G. Sanford over here, and that's all you're trying to say. It ain't my fault.
It ain't.
Hey, Lamont.
Lamont.
He's going to inherit the junkyard.
But I mean, so is Nathan when Nathan becomes an old man, in 50 years, is he going to write down his cloud password? Are his grandchildren, his great grandchildren, going to find his cloud password and find all these gems of pictures? No, they're not. Like
they're going to find physical pictures because I got good news. I found my Ella's grandfather's camera that he took to Vietnam. So now I have a vintage camera that I can work with. So that's kind of my new photography project is kind of getting more into the vintage photography because I've started.
Yeah, but you're an anomaly, Nathan.
Well, now listen to this though, Chris.
I'm weird. I want to be the most new age, old school person I could be to preserve it because I enjoy it, and I think it's going to take both to keep it.
Yeah,
but now he's not like the hoarder type. I will say that because like if it's something that's doesn't have usability, direct usability, it's just junk.
Yeah.
Like I got to watch him around my stuff. I'm like, don't, because it took a while for me to get the point to him like these 60-inch double crosscut saws that I have that still have all the handles on them, and I've got the 3-inch wide, a 4, 5, and a 6. I got 32, 48, 60-inch long. I got all these hand tools, foot ads, froze. Yeah. Those are not junk.
Right.
No.
They look like junk. But
once you learn how to use them, you see how valuable they are.
Joey, you and I grew up in an age where our grandmothers saved their tinfoil. I remember my grandmother
baking grease in a coffee can.
You bet. Taking the tinfoil off the top of a pie and washing it off and folding it up and putting it in a pile in the cabinet.
I shouldn't even say it.
Say it.
Every once in a while, I'll wash out Ziploc bags.
I turn them inside out and wash them. They had hot dogs in them. Okay, I washed the plate that I had the hot dog on. I washed
Yeah.
the skillet that I cooked it in. Why not
My
wash the
wife was
plastic
watching the other
bag?
full other night. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but she was.
Like, there's
I was like,
100%.
But we're in such a throwaway society now. Like you said, the memories that we have are so. I mean, they're just little clicks in time now. I mean, it's like you said, taking a picture. We can take 10,000 pictures a day, no big deal. But when you had the old, you know, Polaroids that you took, where your grandma made you line up wearing
Yeah.
the weird
And she
Easter
cut the top of
clothes.
your head off.
Yeah, and each one of those pictures, although you only have 5 of them, those are 5 pivotal moments in time, 5 memories that will. And now it's like, yeah, you know, we caught a hog here, but now the first one that I caught, you know, I've got a physical picture of it. That's something in a magazine, and like if you got one in Tusker, say this is the first one that I turned in, I'm going to keep that magazine.
Yeah.
Most people would, you know, if they got any sense, they would. They keep it, and then later on, you know, it don't take up that much space.
Yeah. I mean, I put out the magazine, and I have 2 magazines. They're not pictures of me. They're pictures of good friends of mine. Uh, that after the magazine came out, I cut out and took and got framed, and they hang on my wall. And I do that because I know that they'll be there forever,
Unless your house burns down.
unless my house burns down.
That's enough.
Yep.
You see what I got to deal with? This is not even my dog. Get out, go over the name. But
Black with brindle trim.
that's Catahoula.
Black with brindle trim.
Yeah, he's got just a little
he's got
bit
a little merle on his face.
a little bit of Merle on him.
Merle.
He came from Gene Reynolds.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Gene or not, but he come out of that Matador Mercy breeding that he done, and that little dog turned out to be a pretty good woods dog.
He's going through his terrible twos right now. One day he'll be like superstar, and next day I'll be like ready to choke him.
Yeah. He's basically like 17, 18 right now.
Yeah.
Now, last year at 8 to 10, 11 months, he put the lead dogs to shame. Like, I mean, he was just showing out. And then deer season came. He set up for a little bit because, like, when deer season hits us, we have very few places that we can really hunt much. And so we had to start over a little bit. And then this year's been kind of up and down with him. But he will find a pig.
Yeah, he started off a little rough this morning when we went, but by the end of the hunt, he was going good. He found his groove again. We bred him, 3 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. And so a little hormonal male issue there. No brain usage for about 2 weeks out of it.
Yeah.
Completely gone.
Hey, Chris, why don't you take us to some questions?
Yeah, let's see what we got here.
Uh-oh.
John Hall's got one. No, wait. Michael Smith. He's an Alabama guy. What do you do for mosquitoes? Keep the mosquitoes off.
Dude, where we were at today, anybody that hunts with me will tell you I do not wear off or bug spray of any kind.
Yeah.
I probably used a half a can today. Like, it was, and this was at 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
It was after lunch, you know. It was horrible. The
It
dogs
doesn't even work, though, you know?
do what?
The bug spray doesn't even work.
No, that's what I'm saying. It really didn't make much of a difference. What we do, we run vests, you know, like we'll run a bay vest on our dogs. Not on all of them, but on the ones that we do run, we use that Sawyer's. It's like a bug spray preventative deal. You put it on the clothes and let it dry. So, and we treat their cut collars, we treat their vest and all that with that, and it seems to help some.
Yeah.
Can I give you a hack and a way to save money instead of spraying with those Sawyers?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you go to the farm supply store, you're going to buy a permethrin that is 0.10. So if you mix that at 1 ounce per 20 ounces of water, it'll cut it to the 0.5, which is the same percentage that Sawyer's is. Okay. So 1 ounce of the stock 0.10 at 20 ounces will put you at 0.05.
Okay.
And I put 40 ounces of water in one of those pump up garden sprayers. Those dudes that, I mean, they're awesome. So it's just a little handheld pump up garden sprayer, 40 ounce of water, 2 ounces of permethrin, and I spray everything down. And it's
that's good.
pennies. It's pennies on the dollar compared to that Sawyer.
Oh
Plus,
yeah, that stuff's expensive.
Plus, it's easier to put on than sitting there with that little pump deal and, wearing your fingers out and the thing, that's how I do it. I go to the farm store, get the 0.10 that's 10% permethrin, cut it down to 5%, which is supposedly safe, and put it in a pump-up sprayer. And, man, I do it pennies on the dollar compared to permethrin.
Yeah. I'd say the next biggest thing is just keeping like stagnant water. You just don't allow like buckets or like something just randomly fill up in your yard because like mosquitoes are going to breed in that. Randy Durrell was telling us about how he gets his yard fogged. He'll like take all of his dogs off and then hire like a mosquito spraying company to come in there and like fog his yard. He's like, I don't have any issues. Like,
we don't really. I don't have really a big mosquito problem.
Yeah, we don't either.
Where I'm at, but yeah.
They were bad, like I said, where we were at today, but they haven't been that bad at the house.
But for the dogs, so around your place, if you'll get rid of, you have buckets, barrels sitting around that gather water, not like dog water buckets, just, you have buckets around. Tip all them over so you don't have sand and water. That's where mosquitoes breed. That's where they lay their larvae. But the best thing you can do for your dogs on mosquitoes is Ivamac.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes, that's what carries heartworms. So if you get your dogs on a pretty strict once a month of Ivamac, that will nix the heartworm problems. I don't know if mosquitoes will still bite them when you've been hitting them with Ivamac, but I know that they won't transmit heartworms.
Right.
And heartworms are a real deal. Like it will take a dog's life from 10 years to 5 years. It's a real deal.
And see, all of y'all took that question in the context of at the house on the yard. I took it as while they were hunting. See, I told y'all something wrong with me. See, because like me, a dog ain't no good. It ain't doing no good at the house. You got to turn that dog loose and hunt it. So mosquitoes are only bothering my dog when we're hunting. Other than that, it's at the house. It don't even matter.
Well, they can get heartworms at the house.
Oh, look, the dog's got to run fast and blow the mosquitoes off.
But I mean, we take, so like what Chris was talking about, we take the 0.1 permethrin and we just put it like in a Windex bottle.
Yeah.
And for ourselves. And it works good on ticks too. So we just spray down our pants. And
I've got to use it for ticks around here.
Yeah, we go from like the knee down and all around your boots. Ticks don't always come from the bottom up. They do drop out of trees. But
I hang all my clothes on the solution I use has been effective for the several washings, and I soak them with that garden sprayer. I mean, I just and
we'll have to do that. That would be way more cost effective for sure.
Yep.
I've never even heard of that product you guys were talking about.
Yeah, I think Johnny and Vicky gave us some.
Yeah, now it is a very good product. Like I said, it works. You can put it, like I put it on my hip boots or my waders, my chaps, whatever you want to call them, and I put it on there, let it dry, and like I haven't had any problems out of ticks. Ticks are the main issue that we have, sir.
You'll see a tick crawling up on your clothes or your,
and they'll jump off.
They'll sit there and they'll like go into convulsions.
Really?
And just whoop, flip
these
off
right
there.
here, like if I ever see them on, usually they'll get on and crawl a little bit and then just jump off, But
Yep.
like I said, it's probably not as concentrated as what you're using. Like I said, I think it's the 0.5, like you were talking about. I think it's what it is.
I'm not sure.
It is. It's 0.05
Yeah.
and
That's the name of it, though, ain't it? Sawyer's and a yellow and black can.
yeah.
Talking.
Yep, that's it. I
You
used to buy
treat your
it
clothes, let them
religiously.
dry, and it lasts for so many washings and all that. Which, of course, I mean, with my chaps and stuff, I usually just do that every so often. They just started doing it with the vest and stuff last year before last. And
This summer I started beginning of this year.
so this summer.
I load the clothesline up every spring and just go down through there with that gallon sprayer and or the garden sprayer and just hose everything down.
You guys,
awesome.
You guys wash your hunting clothes?
No, that's what I was like. It's supposed to last for so many washings, but
I got a pair of hunting pants I ain't washed in probably 5 years.
Rodney Bell's got a pair of
I'm keeping
overalls.
mine clean.
You only
I keep
shower
mine-
about every 4 days too. Though, so.
How long do you think it's been since Rodney has washed his overalls? Rodney's got the same pair of overalls.
Rodney took a
He's
shit in
warm
the
ever since
woods.
I met him.
Rodney took a shit in the woods today, and I'm pretty sure he stepped in it in the process because when he
It
got in
was
the
bad.
truck, it smelled like shit.
This is when you know that you're good friends because he was like, "Hey, can you just cut this underwear band off of me?" I was like, "What?" He's like, had his overalls. He just opened. He's gonna die when he sees it. He's gonna die because I always said something about Rodney having shit or something. But anyway, he had his drawers on. He tore them off so he could use the bathroom, and all he had was the band left on, just the elastic waistband. So he's walking around all day with just the elastic waistband.
Hey,
He's like,
I've
I'll tell
sacrificed so many pairs of underwear.
I'll tell a story that'll make Rodney
Damn, dog.
that'll shadow Rodney.
Me and this
Make it
dog
big.
right here.
So I was hunting over by Texarkana one time, and I just had to shit. So I went off and shit, and I was wearing overalls. And after I got done, I put my overalls back on and walked back to everybody, and I kept smelling.
I know what you're gonna say.
Kept smelling something terrible. And I said, oh my God. And, my nose is trying to like get a vector on where this smell's coming from. And I had dragged one of my overall straps
Oh hell!
through
Hey,
it.
you always gotta gather the straps up and throw
Pull
them
them around to the front, don't you, Chris?
Yeah.
Hey, I was in a
Keep the
big
straps in the front.
hurry.
Trying to
we were duck hunting one time down on the creek, and we were all in the boat, and one of the buddies is like, "Man, I got to take a dump." He jumps out of the boat and he runs up on the bank, comes back, he gets in the boat, and he's standing there, and we're like, "What is that? What is that smell?" and he had shit in his waders. He had shit in the edge of his waders and pulled them back on, and had it smeared up his back. It was horrible.
So I'm hunting with this. I used to hunt with this old guy named Lee, and he had the weakest stomach. I mean, he did. I mean, he could, if he ate anything other than bread, like it was going to hit him. And we was coming back from hunting one day, and we was on Highway 69, which is a big highway. And I was driving. He's sitting in the passenger seat, and I don't remember what we'd ate, but he's like, Ed, he's like, Ed, I got a shit, And like, if I say I got a shit, I mean in the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
When Lee said it, it was like 30
lead up
seconds.
to it.
Yeah, it was drastic. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking, well, next exit I see with the gas station, I'll pull over. So I keep on driving. Lee looks at me and he goes, Ed, I said, I got a shit. And I was like, you mean like right now? And he's like, I mean like right now. So I like just pull over on the shoulder, and Lee wore overalls every day of his life that I knew him. And so I pull over on the shoulder, the big old ditch and some woods over there. When I pull over, I'm thinking, yeah, he's going to make it, over there to them woods. No. He's just right on the edge of the grass off the shoulder. Trucks, cars zipping by. I'm looking in the rearview mirror on the passenger side. Lee's just squatted over.
Just let her go.
He was old enough. He didn't care. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. Once you get so old, Joe's a little behind the 8 ball here. He's like, I'm not sure if he's what he's talking about there. We went from ticks to turds to so.
Pretty sure he's talking about ticks, not turds.
Oh, okay, I got you now. Yeah, not 15 to 20 turds off of you.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Shitty spot.
That'd be shitty. You know that you'd be surprised at well, y'all probably wouldn't. Y'all been in the same situations, but there's all these guys that hunt together all the time. It's like they get this comfort level around each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever. If you got to shit,
whatever you got to do.
That's shit, you know.
The one I
don't have that comfort level. I'm like, look, leave me alone. I gotta go over here. You know, I gotta go be by myself for a little while. I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
You can't do it and talk to everybody?
No. Oh Lord, no.
You can't be doing it going, hey,
Logan Campbell can't. Logan Campbell, he squatted right beside the truck while we were talking.
He went on the other side of the truck and leaned up against the tire.
You can't be doing it and be like, hey, them dogs made a tight circle.
The thing is, if you don't bury it, you're gonna smell it again.
Yeah.
When those dogs come back to you, it's going to be wrapped up in a Garmin collar, and there is nothing worse. I was hunting this one place one night, and it was a big holler that goes up there, and there was always a deer camp up there. And it was after the deer season was over, and this little female got treed up in there, and I was watching her on the Garmin when I turned her loose. I was like, she's messing around that deer camp. I bet there's food scraps or, whatever. And finally she moved out there and she got on up the holler and she got treed. I walked in there, and as soon as I got to that tree, reach over to pet her, and I stopped myself right before. It's like, that smells human. Oh, it was nasty. It's like, just want not even put them back in the truck. In the dog
I think
box.
everybody has had that situation that at some time or the other, somebody has dealt with that. If you've been running dogs any length of time.
Here we go. Roy's got one here. Sleeves and sock tops go first. Bullshit. I'm gonna call bullshit on that. I'm not running a
jackass. Jackass.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we already gave him one.
Roy, I love you.
Can we do it? Can we do it to him twice?
No, this is for me. Yeah, Roy, I love you.
I mean,
okay, Roy. This is from Joey. I don't even think I can pull it up.
Well,
there it is. There it is. I got it. There it is.
Roy knows that's with love.
If I'm wearing a pair, I can make it without my briefs, without my whitey tidies. But I start sacrificing socks and sleeves. No, I'm not. I'm taking the, and it's easy. I mean, you don't even have to take them off. You've got a knife. Everybody's got a knife on them. You cut the two legs off, on the sides. Boom, you pull that dude out, and there you go.
Well, are you guys telling me? I don't know how Rodney got in. Because like I said, his drawers were gone, but the elastic waistband was still there.
I don't even know how that happened.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
Let's slow down.
And Rodney's built like a.
We got a whole conversation going.
Are you guys telling me that there's dog hunters that don't have a bunch of napkins in your glove box?
There was toilet paper in our Garmin bag.
I don't know.
I was like, "There's roller." He's well, I used that other. I was like, "Well, there's a whole roll right there. I don't leave home without it."
Some toilet paper.
I mean,
like you said, I'm not taking my sleeves off. I'll just take the whole damn shirt off if I'm gonna do that. Ed just revealed
that he's a truck hunter. That's what he did. He's standing right by the truck.
You got a handle recovery antenna?
Yeah.
A what?
Yep.
What's that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally a truck hunter. I mean,
I'm becoming one. That's for
me too. The older I get, the more I'm a truck hunter.
Yes, it's way better.
I mean, at any point, I've always got 50, 60 napkins from fast food places in my.
Me too.
I can't keep the napkins for some reason. I get them, but I don't know where the hell they go. When it's time to use them, they're not there. But
probably not Rodney, I guess.
No, Rodney. His bowel system works pretty good. You know,
Rodney seems more like a leaf guy to me.
Hey, here we go. We
Yeah.
got somebody posting links now. We're gonna have to look this link
Oh, I
up.
know what that is. I know what that is. Paul Greenwood showed me this.
Over
Paul
in the
Greenwood,
corner.
you fold it, you tear the tip off of it, you stick your finger through it, you got a little square there. He was
That-
like, it's reusable and it's wipe it off. I
Yeah.
was like, good God.
Paul showed me the same thing.
That's you know what I'm talking about, Ed. Yeah.
Exactly.
That Paul now Mr. Paul is a wealth of knowledge on that kind of stuff.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to watch this video. Wish I could.
Paul's a wealth of knowledge on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he really
Paul's
is.
my hero. When I grow up, I want to be Paul.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know that one day we were out there and he was like, he come over there and I think it was you and me, you and Seth. Or it was you and Seth, and then he pointed at me. He's like, hey, you come on and go with us too. I was like, okay. And I was like, I didn't know where we were going. We went to Paul's, went to the shop and stuff and hung out, or went out there and he gave me a dog horn and we just hung out and you know, shot shit for a little while. Like you said though, Paul's my hero.
I like Paul because I've always thought like so you can gauge your friends. To me, so you can gauge your friends on how you don't feel the need to talk. So like I'll go stay at Paul's house, and Paul gets up early. I get up early. Everybody else will be, you know, typically during the Terrier trials, there'll be 10 people sleeping at Paul's house. Well, I'll get up, walk down. Paul will be sitting there drinking his coffee, and I can sit on the couch next to Paul, and we might sit there for like, I remember one time. So we sit there for 30 or 40 minutes. Nobody says anything. I didn't even know Paul that well at the time. So we sit there for 30, 40 minutes, don't say anything. And then Paul goes, I really like you, Ed. And I was like, I like you too, Paul. And then that was the end of the conversation. Like we're totally comfortable to sit here and say nothing.
Yep. He's one of a kind, that's for sure.
It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, like he's had a pretty exquisite life as well. You know, he's lived a lot.
Paul has lived a lot.
So with the truck hunter deal now, where we're at, you know, a lot of everybody here rides 4-wheelers or side by sides. We're gonna get on a serious topic now.
Okay.
So, how important?
Shitting isn't a serious topic.
No,
We haven't been serious yet.
Shitting is serious shit. It is, but it's a shitty topic. Okay, so I killed myself. I'm so funny. I know. Look, what was the hell was I saying? I don't
Get
know
serious.
Something about 4-wheelers and buggies.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
everybody.
everybody's riding this shit around. So if you're hunting in a truck, do y'all use what do they do? Everybody cut it off?
No.
Oh,
We
just
put-
We're focusing on
is-
you.
It's so serious. We're
Getting
focusing on you.
Now listen, guys. What I'm talking about is communication, serious communication. Do y'all use two-way radios in y'all's trucks? And what kind of antenna system do y'all use in your Garmin? Do y'all have like hound recovery, or what do y'all use?
Are we running an advertisement for Wade here?
Well,
I don't know him.
I used to run that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking
I
about.
used to run one of them antennas from Wade, and it was one of the earlier ones. It was a single magnet,
Mhm.
and I mean my truck I hunt out of is my daily truck, and I got so mad at that thing because it had the main mast came off, then it had 4 or 5 antennas that come off the side. Well, in my day-to-day driving, the antennas would just sit there and bounce off the roof.
Yeah.
And I got mad one day and just pulled over on the side of the road, and I had some dikes in my truck and cut that cord and pulled that antenna and threw it in the ditch.
It's two in the ditch.
Threw it in the ditch. I was sick of. I mean, that constant like ting 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 ting,
Mhm.
and
You can bend them up.
Yeah,
I mean, I tried that.
How fast you driving?
Hey, if you know me, anybody who knows me knows I ain't driving fast. Uh, so no, I mean we used to use two-way radios. We don't really that much anymore, uh, and don't really run the long-range antennas. We pretty much know, like, we pretty much know where them dogs are going to go. So when we lose signal, we can drive around
Okay.
and grab signal.
So for me, the triple mag sold me. I was raking antennas off the truck when we were cutting these trails and stuff over in West
Yeah,
Virginia.
same thing was happening to me.
And so I went with the triple mag, and we got a heavy snow. Talking about a heavy, wet snow one night, and we went out the next day, and I hit this trail, called it the Outhouse Trail. Fitting, isn't it? Considering the conversation we've been having. I hit the Outhouse Trail and came down through there, and I'm telling you, my truck bed was full of snow, and that triple mag was still on top of the truck. It did
Yeah,
not rake it off.
I mean I'm not dissing those antennas. What's the dude's name?
Wade Holcraft.
Wade. So I
Wade will
was at.
Wade will promote his product anywhere, anytime.
He's
You make a
he's
you
quite
make
the promoter.
you make a post, he'll promote his antenna.
He's quite the promoter.
Yeah.
And like that was literally the only name that I knew that popped in my head when I asked that, because I mean I know there's a lot of people that use them, but like I've had some issues. Like we had a Garmin brand, uh, and dude, that thing, same thing like Ed, just like finally just took it, threw some bitch out. It's like it wasn't even worth the headache. Uh, but I'm wanting to. I've been seriously thinking about getting either a CB setup or a base station setup put in the truck and to run two-way radios. But I mean, I didn't know if y'all had a certain setup that worked better
I'm a
than
big fan
others.
of. I'm a huge fan of the CBs. So
Okay.
Ryan's
because
got it figured out.
typically when we hunt, we're in multiple trucks, uh, and I always kind of grew up. I
Yeah, we
mean,
got that covered right there. We can collar them up
yeah.
anymore.
So I mean, I grew up running when we dog hunted. We ran CBs. So here a few years ago, I put a CB in my truck and got one of my other hunting buddies, twisted his arm, got him to put a CB, and then I gave Tanner a CB for Christmas because I kept waiting on him to buy one. He wouldn't buy one, so I gave him one for Christmas, and then kept asking him, "You put it in yet?" No, I ain't put it in yet. That went on for a few months, and then I said, one Saturday I was like, "You home?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm home." I was like, "I'm coming over to your house and getting your truck." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'm coming over to your house and picking up your truck and bringing it back to my house and putting that damn CB in your truck." And so I did that, and then he ended up selling the truck and getting a
Mm.
new one. But I mean, CBs are, to me, it's a no brainer. I mean, you can communicate
Well,
a lot
that's what I
further
was looking
than
into.
you can with a two-way
Really.
handheld.
So
And
I,
like I
I
say,
didn't know what the difference would be between that and the two-way, because like I said, I'm illiterate on a lot of that stuff. I don't know.
well, I mean, CB is going to reach a lot further than most two-way radios. Uh,
Gotcha.
and lots of times, so like it never fails. Like you guys know, especially when you're running long range dogs, you turn dogs loose over here at this property, and they go 2 miles, and you've lost communication with them, and you start getting antsy,
Hmm.
and then you say, "Well, we better drive over there and check on them." And about the time everybody loads up and you drive over there, they're back direction where
Yeah.
you turn loose. So if you got good communication, you can say, "Well, I can tell Tanner, I'm going to sit right here.
Exactly.
You drive over there, and if you pick them up and they're bait or whatever, you radio to me because lots of times where we hunt, we don't have, we can't do this over the phone.
Hmm.
So, uh, So one guy can stay put, one guy can take off, and then you can communicate like, yeah, you need to get your ass over here, or stay there. They're heading back towards you. We're heading back towards you.
Well, the scenario today, that's the whole reason I brought that up. We hunted a property. We've hunted it, I think, 4 times now, and it's kind of tough. There's a good population of hogs, but we're right on the edge of the river, and as soon as you get on them, they hit the water. But now to get across, we got to go around. But now we have also found in the last 3 times that they have ran the same route. So basically, it's like, but doing it on phone where we're at, service is so spotty.
Yeah.
So like I said, that's why I was curious if, the 2-way or whether a CB would be better, because it's going to be about 3 miles. Because you can get around there and cut them off. Like you were saying, I could stay here. Because when we went all the way around there today, about the time we got there, the dog was back at the river. You know what I mean? Like I said, It done started working its way back.
Yeah.
And so somebody could have stayed in one spot. Somebody could have went over here. So it's one of those deals where I was just curious. Like I said, I've dealt with some stuff in the past like that, but we've never had the need to have that type of communication while hunting, because usually we're all right there together.
Yeah, like I say, even if you're all together, there comes a point where it's beneficial to split up, and I think that's where the
and that's where we're at. We're going to have to, on some of these properties like that.
And
I'm
CBs,
what this 2-meter radio is.
CBs come in handy.
What is?
Lots of times we'll kick dogs out, and might be 2 hours of boredom waiting on them to do something.
Yeah,
and CBs can be entertaining. You pick up other people. You pick up truckers and you start talking to them, and
Well, our rule of thumb, which I don't follow all the time, is you got a handheld and you've got a mobile radio mounted in your truck. But I'm curious, what this 2-meter radio is. I don't.
That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, Cass River, fill us in there a little bit.
Yeah,
because we're all looking for.
I was like a ham radio, I guess.
Is it a ham?
That's what. This says 2-meter ham radio transceiver, 2-meter radio, 2-meter band.
One of the most important things, and this is what I run into all the time. Okay. Cass River says it's a ham radio, which I've got mounted in the truck. The thing that I run into with as many places that I hunt and different people I hunt with, every place you go, you've got this frequency that they run on.
Yeah.
And so I struggle because those antennas have to be tuned to that frequency. And so if I go way up in the band, then I suffer. If I go too low in the band, I suffer. And there's just a couple spots where I go where it's a sweet spot. Okay. So the antenna has to be tuned to that frequency. And now, one thing, I was giving Wade a hard time in this thing, but if you let Wade know what your frequency is, he can actually tune that radio to your frequency. And you can find that too if you do a Google search on what frequency you're running on your ham. Then you can find where you need to tune that radio, and it's just trimming the length. You tune that antenna on the overall length of the antenna.
Okay, I got you. See, that's something I didn't know about there.
Yep.
And that'll help a lot.
But I don't understand how, my handheld works, but my mobile doesn't work as well. I'm pretty ignorant on the whole radio thing.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Just talking about the ham radios.
Yeah.
Well, I think ham requires a license.
It does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The government wants your money. Yeah.
But getting back to the CBs,
I don't have any money, so that's out.
Yeah, I don't have any money either. But
and Barnes. No, we know better than that. I'll be watching the S&P 500. I can see when it goes up and down when you're buying and selling. The
Tuskers
little
is a Fortune
arrows.
500
I like
company.
Ed's on there today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Elon Musk. Elon
that-
Musk contacts Ed for
Yes, without a
financial
doubt.
advice.
that's a really big topic.
But
But
no,
let's
it's a really big
forget about
topic.
that. Let's get back to CB radios.
Ed's
So-
so tight. Ed's so tight that he's got
His
the
ass
first
squeaks
dollar
when
he
he
ever
walks.
made. I mean, look at him. He's sitting there. He's like Sam Walton. He's sitting there in a white T-shirt when he
Yeah.
prints thousands of T-shirts every day.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I'm poor. I've got a white T-shirt on.
Yeah, tight as frog pussy.
with napkins to wipe his ass.
Don't throw those
But yeah.
napkins out.
Getting back to CB radios. I think everybody should have a CB radio. There's gonna be a day. CB radios are super handy for dog hunting. There's gonna be a day when these cell phones don't work, and a CB radio is gonna be super handy to get a hold of your buddies.
Well, that was the whole purpose of the ham radio. Ham's got further. It's got further.
Ham can reach further.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, if you've got the means and the know-how, yeah, get a ham, learn it, and it may come in handy when you don't give a shit about that license or whatever.
Right, which is now.
Yeah,
Joe Harvey.
Maybe not right
It's
now, but
it is now.
November,
I don't
it
have a
might,
ham license.
it might come in really
Just putting
handy
it
around
out there.
November.
Yeah. Joe
I've
Harvey,
got-
and this is another important thing, and he's right. Need to watch Garmin when they were running the 430s. Remember the Garmin 430?
Yeah.
If you the ham frequencies would cook those handhelds.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Garmin
Yeah.
Garmin has figured that out. But if you mount you need to have your radio antenna and your long range antenna mounted, and don't operate your handheld within 4 feet of your radio antenna.
Mm.
You don't want to be sitting there laying across the front of the truck, sitting there
Yeah.
right by and operating your handheld. I still do it. Still take that caution. I don't want to risk cooking my handheld.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's all that stuff there. I didn't know any of that.
Yep.
Yeah, it gets real technical. So, like years ago, it's been years and years ago, a friend of mine, we ran CBs and long range antennas. So, this friend of mine from West Texas, he goes to a CB shop, like at a truck stop, and he was showing him his Garmin and whatever. So, like, oh, yeah, we can get you more range out of this thing. So, they rigged him up an antenna, and this is technical beyond my thinking, but they rigged him up a CB antenna that supposedly would work like a long range. And yeah, he called me, or when he first got it, he called me and he's like, Ed, this thing's badass. About 3 hours later, he called me and he's like, Ed, this thing fried my handheld.
Well, here's what John Hall says. He said if you're pushing more than 25 watts, you can burn the Garmin up. So
Yeah, I don't understand all the technical
I
stuff,
don't
but I
either.
know that it doesn't interswitch. It can harm your stuff.
Yeah, see, I don't know anything about that stuff. See, I started this. See what I'm saying? This was serious topic because I don't know shit about it. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, so like we were talking about the long range antenna that Wade has. So like when he gave me one years and years ago to test out, and I tested it out kind of in the flatland that we ran, and I was getting, I just like dropped a collar and started driving, and I think I got like 7.5 miles out of it, and I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And but that was pretty much flatland. But then when we started hunting, I mean, typically when we're on pigs, we're going to be in hills, and with a standard Garmin antenna on the handheld, if we get 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 miles, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And we were getting about 2 miles out of that long range, which was,
Yeah.
it was better.
You remember last year when we were in the Gila though, and we had to stop by camp and get my long range antenna.
Oh yeah, it totally made a difference.
Yep.
Yeah, it
We're
totally
headed
made
up
a
the
difference.
trail and we weren't getting anything on handhelds, and all of a sudden it started, banging. It's like a treed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in the helo, like we thought we knew what was going on. We had a pretty good idea what was going on,
Yep.
and we were close enough to base camp that we hauled over there through a long range on the side by side, and yeah, we knew what was going on pretty much instantly. I mean, we left camp a little bit, and then Chris was driving like a total maniac, and I had
Really?
that
was wide
long
open.
range. He was wide open.
I was winding it out, boys.
Hell
And
yeah.
I had that
Skint
handheld
back.
to the long range, and he was driving like crazy. And I finally picked it up, and I was like, "They're treed."
Yep.
And poor Seth was behind us in his side by side with a flat tire, trying to keep up with Chris. He did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Oh, I can see Seth is not going to be the guy that's not going to put all the effort into it.
No, I mean,
He's
he had
gonna-
a flat tire, and he was doing his best to keep up.
Yeah.
You bet. You bet. Here,
So
hey,
what-
we got a question.
Oh,
Oh
Do
yeah,
game
they
wardens
do.
patrol the radio?
he's not a
frequency,
game warden. How would he know?
Traffic and high concentration of dog hunting areas.
Well, I won't let Chris is not a game warden,
Yeah.
so
See, it's
I
a
won't let him
sign.
address this, but I'll address it. Yeah, they do.
If they're smart, they do.
So okay, so years ago I had this friend.
Tell him, Chris. Tell him, Chris. Oh shit.
I had this friend from California, and
Good stuff.
he was running the old, beep beep collars.
Mhm.
Well, he said, and the game wardens were after him because he was a lion and bear hunter in California, which isn't legal. So he was a hog hunter too. So they pulled him over. He's like, they pulled me over one day, and they were giving me the whole shabub. And he's like, I noticed one of the dudes they were checking my dogs over, and he's like, I'll be damned if they weren't writing down the frequencies on my collars, because those old beep beep collars would be
And wrote on.
125.43 through 125.87 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, they were writing that shit down. So he's like, I got some new collars on a different frequency. And he's like, when I was getting ready, and he said, after that, I didn't really think much about it, but he's like, I'd be hunting in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, game wardens would just like show up. And he's like, and then I figured out they're tracking them collars.
Yep.
So he's like, so then when I'd get ready to go line hunting, he said, I'd take one of them old collars that they had the frequencies for, and I'd give it to my wife. She'd be getting ready to go to town to go grocery shopping, and I'd put it in her truck, and then I'd put different frequency collars on my dogs and go hunting. And he's like, the frequency of me running into game wardens drastically stopped.
Well, let me share this story with you. So we had a group of coyote hunters here local, and they always met at this old service station. It was kind of their clubhouse, and they ran a base station out there with their frequencies on it and stuff. And so I stopped in there one day just shooting the bull with them, and happened to look at their radio setup.
Just happened to.
Just happened to.
Yeah. It's a total accident.
It was, yeah. Well, I mean, they told me to stop by, and do you want me to wear like a blindfold in there or what, Ed? So then I knew that they were running on frequency, Marine channel number 68. Well, marine frequencies you can actually scan them. It
Yeah.
like all our boats and stuff, we could scan. We just put it in scan mode, and it just scans all of it, and so it wasn't a hard thing to do. You just put a scannable radio in there, and if you're running marine frequencies, I can do that. I can pick up every conversation. So it doesn't matter where your dogs are. I know where you're at. I can hear your conversation. I know you're hunting that day.
You don't really know where they're at, right?
You can when you okay. Here's a different scenario. Remember the old baby monitors?
Yeah.
Okay, so baby monitors all operated on a frequency.
UHF.
And yep. And so we had all those baby monitor frequencies because every meth head and crack whore has a baby monitor because they got a crack baby, right? So, and they've all run those baby monitors. And so you would program those in and you would drive down the road and all of a sudden you're getting a hit and you just stop and you listen. And they're talking about all kinds of stuff and it's all coming through the baby monitor onto my portable scanner mounted in my truck. You could establish all, and it's all free. I mean, it's all right out there in the open.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're like, okay, they're talking about selling crack cocaine. They're talking about selling marijuana. They're talking about the deer that's hanging in the barn behind the house. And it's all being picked up on the baby monitor.
That's wild.
Yep.
So
great.
baby monitors run on UHF, which, back in the day of when people had landlines, cordless
We could
phones,
listen to cordless phone
yeah,
conversations.
cordless
too.
phones run on UHF as well inside your house. So
You couldn't use the stuff you picked up on a telephone conversation without a wiretap.
oh really?
It wasn't admissible for probable cause on any warrants.
So years and years ago, like we didn't have electricity,
Not that I'm a game warden, Ed.
no.
The sign says I'm not a game warden.
Yeah.
It's a sign.
Yeah.
So we didn't have electricity. So entertainment was, when the sun went down, it was either you go to bed or we would listen to we ran scanners. Like that was our TV. That was our entertainment. So you could set your scanner to scan UHF, which would pick up baby monitors and cordless home phones.
Yep.
So, that was my entertainment. So one night I'm sitting there listening to the scanner, and I pick up this cordless phone, and it was this. I deducted it was this over the road trucker, and he calls home, and he's like, "Yeah, baby, like I ought to be home in about 10 minutes." She's like, "Oh, great. I ain't seen you in 4 days or whatever." And he goes, he says,
"Are you sure you want to tell this?"
Yeah.
All right.
He goes, "When I pull down that driveway, I want to see them big old titties pushed up against that window."
Ed said, I do too.
Now Ed's running out the door and jumping in the truck trying to track down that camera. He's got his
Oh my
got his
gosh.
binoculars in his hand.
Find the
He's like-
frequency that
Yeah.
somebody's on.
So like we would listen to scanners. The police side of it is usually pretty boring, but when you could hit those cordless phones, that's where the gold was. That was where the entertainment was.
I think
I
I have a feeling you've done that quite a bit.
For years and years, like that was my
You can
entertainment.
see the joy in his face when he was like, that's where it was at. He's like, I remember being all by myself listening to those.
No, I wasn't
Dark
by
room
myself.
with the lights down low.
where I live, law enforcement, at night there was usually one deputy, maybe a trooper working, and me. We were out working. So we actually caught and and convicted a child molester off of that, off of listening to scanners like that.
Well, the police started. The police, fire, EMTs, right, and I'm terrible with dates, but that's probably been 15 years ago or more. But they started scrambling, so it was harder to pick up the police side of it because they were all encrypted / scrambled or whatever.
Yeah. We need to get back to talking dogs.
Do we?
I don't know. I think so.
Pretty interesting, though. Like, I mean, learning a lot about it. We learned a lot about it.
Yeah, we
about
are.
me?
Yeah, we are.
No,
you know,
I'm just saying. I was just telling you guys a story about an over-the-road truck driver.
No,
and you doing the old audio voyeurism on them.
Like, it was audio. That's a good description of that. Audio voyeurism.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's funny. All right, so what kind of dog talking we gonna do this time?
Well,
now,
I'm curious. Let's get back to the podcast thing. How many episodes have you guys done?
I think Monday was like 108 or 107.
What has been your favorite podcast you guys have produced?
Who's the best guest, best overall podcast you guys?
Oh Lord, bro, that's Jen Cubbage.
Yeah, Jen was fun. That was hilarious.
I made it fun.
She didn't care.
Like she was raw dog.
Raw dog.
Like, you know, we're pretty.
I think she was pretty well lit, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. She was
good.
The one that was. I mean, and she's a true hunter, and she just, you know, and that's one reason why I like her, get along good. And that's what she even said. She said, "Well, I might have had a little bit too much moonshine when we recorded that." I was like, "Yeah." I said, "You were fired up," but at the same time, you know, that's the whole reason we do it the way we do it. Is, you know, it's kind of we started to try to have, I'm not going to say a script, but like, you know, have these guidelines and all that. And it's like, man, it's just not us. It's kind of like doing this. We just start talking and just see where it goes. And sometimes it goes to some weird shit with a guy listening to a cordless telephone, you know, and then
that's not that weird.
I mean, and sometimes it goes to talking about dogs, but of course all of them are our favorites. But like the one that really sticks out like that would be Jen, just because of her. Just,
you know, what we did was Shelby Cruz and JT Mack, and that was one of the first ones. I think that might have been our first or second year. We did that live at Hickory Crossings in there in like the awards room.
That's one of the first ones we ever done live.
Yeah, and that one was real good. The ones with Rusty are always real good. We've done 2 with him. And anything we do with Boards and Broads or Pat, those monthly segments, gotta love those. They
you know what's cool about Jen is she doesn't come from like a hunting background.
No.
She like I say, she doesn't come from that background. She just kind of like, I've spoken to her a bunch. I don't remember what spurred her, but she just kind of got the bug.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she went hunting with some guys.
She went on a deer hunt, and they did a hog hunt as well.
That's what.
And after that, man, she got her own dogs and just literally started walking the national forest.
Started from scratch.
Started from zero.
Yeah.
And
that's a cool.
It took a little while, but she found her own hogs. And now she actually has dual purpose dogs. She has bear dogs, and she's went and caught hogs with those bear dogs. She's running plots. I'm pretty sure she's running plot hounds.
Yeah,
you have to.
But yeah, she's.
But you know, I've noticed that I think, and this could be controversial, but people that start from scratch almost have, to me, and I'm kind of biased, but almost have a better understanding. Does that make sense? Because it's like what they learn is totally coming from experience and totally coming from the dogs and not from things they've heard or things they grew up. This is the way you do it, you know.
there's nothing biased in their learning. There's no other influence except for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, well, Papa said this, or my daddy, or whoever, or Uncle so and so said you got to do this, this, and this, or look for a dog like this. They just, it's something that they take at face value. It's right in front of them. It's either right or it's wrong,
Yeah.
or what works for them. Yes, and I've seen that in several people that have zero hunting background, and it really surprised me that their knowledge that they're gaining is from us right here, you guys, us, and other platforms that offer, what no knowledge that we have.
And also, I mean, I would say even more like just
Yes.
what they see working.
Yeah.
And like when you get to the hog hunting side of it, I think the most successful hog hunters that I've seen came from a different dog sport. So they were like fox hunting guys who morphed into hog hunters, or coon hunters who morphed into hog hunters. Uh, I think they have a broader view. They're not as like narrow minded or
Yes.
pinpointed in. And it seems like those guys bring stuff to our sport that just straight up hog hunters who hog hunted their whole lives can't bring into it.
Well, I think we get in paradigms. You know, we get in this paradigm paralysis where we've got our way of thinking and we can't move off of the X. You know, we can't move away from that because,
Yes.
well, Joey Wright says that, Ed Barnes says that, and so we find people in our communities that want to validate what we think and what we believe. So
Yeah.
we gravitate towards that, and then when we hear an outside opinion, it's like, oh, that'll never work. That won't work. Even though it's like, I'll give you a good example of that is John Wick. I was talking to Mark Zepp this week, and he reminded me that John Wick, as much as he did with coon dogs and all of the things that he did, he also got into running dogs where they were coyote hunting and stuff. Well, that was all transferable knowledge. Just because John Wick decided to get a pack of running dogs, all of a sudden doesn't mean he's a complete idiot. You know, he had a lot of experience behind, running hounds without ever running a running dog, and then all of a sudden he broke into that. He still had a bunch of transferable knowledge that came with it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm getting at. I think
Yeah.
that those guys who come from a running dog background who get into hog hunting, they bring new aspects. So like just talking about that, I mean it goes way deeper than that. But so you got running dog guys who are like, yeah, I expect a dog to run 16 mile an hour for 5 hours. Well, if you just take a dude who's been hog hunting his whole life with cur dogs, he's like, that's impossible.
Yep.
The max a dog could do is 8 miles an hour for 5 hours. So it kind of like breaks ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 100% all dog hunting intermixes. Like,
Yes.
so I think I learned more about hog hunting from guys that hunted bear than I ever learned from a guy who hog hunted.
Well, to get back to that breaking ceilings thing, I'll just throw a good example out there. And I'm going to pick some scabs right here. But these guys that think, that are dry ground lion hunters that listen to Dale Lee talk about lions shutting off his scent. That lion never shut off his scent. The dog was overwhelmed in a scent pool, and they won't believe it because I've seen it. I've put it into practice. I've tested the theory with canine training, but they think because my knowledge came from canine training and I wasn't actually chasing lions in dry ground, that somehow that doesn't transfer over. You know, the scent pool was the same on both. They say a lion will shut off his scent when he makes a kill or he's laying on a kill or whatever. Well, that lion lays there in that area for hours, and as that lion lays there, he totally saturates that area with scent.
Yeah.
So when a dog trails in there, all of a sudden he hits the edge of that scent pool, and his olfactory sense becomes overwhelmed
Blows up.
with all of these senses that are. He's like, man, there's scent everywhere, and he doesn't know which way to go. And I'm not saying that people were doing the best they could do with the knowledge they had, but that was a simple scent pool that dog had to take a few minutes to figure out.
Yeah.
So that's an example of a paradigm. And I don't need to be a 50-year dry ground lion hunter to know how dog's nose works and know what happened in that situation.
Correct.
Well, I mean, we see it all the time.
Send me hate mail.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
no,
see it all
I mean,
the time.
you're right,
And I
but
see,
100%.
and coon hunters deal with the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Do you
lion
think that's an overlooked thing, Ed? Is too much scent?
I think it's totally overlooked.
Yeah.
So,
Without a doubt. Without
So, I
a
mean,
doubt.
You think about that lion is traveling. Okay, he's dropping scent, he's dropping scent, he's dropping scent. A dog has to acquire a scent picture in his brain. He sees the world through his nose. So when he gets locked in on this track and this trail, he's like, okay, I'm smelling. And then all of a sudden you have a change to that scent picture. Maybe it's a road crossing. Maybe it's a change in vegetation. It takes him just a split second to reorient his nose with his brain to see that scent picture. When he gets to a scent pool, whether it's a lion, it's a human, it's a deer, it's whatever you're chasing with your dog, a coon in a persimmon tree that's been sitting up there for 2 hours gorging on persimmons, all of a sudden that area is saturated with scent, and boom, that dog's like, man, I know it's here, I just don't know where. So he's running around trying to reorient and get it all lined out in his head.
yeah, I think one of the hardest things for a dog to do is run a really, really hot track.
Yes.
So, and I'm sure there's been.
Do you know why?
Sensory overload.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you're talking about. So I bet you there's been truckloads of dogs that have been cold on it. So, like,
Because they wouldn't run a hog that they just seen cross the road.
just saw across the road. That's one of the hardest.
You can't catch them.
That's
Very
one of the
simple.
hardest tracks to run. So,
Yeah.
so
Put
yeah.
your bulldog on it.
I mean, I've figured this out over the years.
Yeah.
But so we're going hunting, and we plan to drive over here and just totally dry cast these dogs on some pasture or hills or whatever. And those dogs, you know, will go run for an hour, pick up a trail, run it, bay a pig. You're on your way there, and you see a sow and 6 shoats cross the road. What's the first thing most people think? Oh, I got this pup in the truck that hasn't had that much exposure. I'm going to drop this pup on this super hot trail, which should be super easy. They drop the pups out. They can't line it out. They can't figure it out. And then you think, oh my gosh, these dogs ain't worth a damn. Like, go home and cull these things. I saw the pigs and they couldn't even run them.
And we continue to do it time after time.
And in reality, you take the oldest, best dog you got in the truck and throw him in that situation, and it's going to be a challenge for him. You know?
Yeah.
I had an old timer one time. His name was Kenny Burton. He broke me in on coon hunting, and we would drive down the road, and I'd done this 30 times. You know, see a coon cross the road and throw your pup out on it. And we're driving down the road and see a coon cross the road, and I'm telling Kenny, I'm like, hit the brakes, I'm going to put this pup out. And he looked at me, he's like, just calm down. I said, no, the coon just crossed. He says, I saw it. He drove up to the next intersection, pulled off the next stop sign, pulled off the side of the road, poured himself a cup of coffee, and he said, we're going to go back there and we're going to run that coon. But we're not doing it right now. Your pup will not be able to run that track.
Yeah.
And so he sat there, he poured his cup of coffee. We turned around. It was probably 10 minutes after the coon cross. Went out there, put the pup down, pup ran across, took the track the right way, just like Roy just mentioned. He said half the time they'll take it the wrong way, and they will.
Oh yeah, especially a super hot
Yeah.
track.
And so the pup took the track the right way, treated his first coon off of it, and that was my. And then after I went to canine training, and they started talking about scent pools and scent settling and dogs olfactory and how they get overwhelmed, and it's like it took me right back to Kenny Burton telling me that story, 30 years before or 20 years before.
I mean, there's a bunch of factors that go into it, but scent has to settle. Like, so a hog or coon or whatever, it runs through some place and it's going to leave a scent trail. But that scent trail it takes a superb dog just to pull it straight out of the air. It has to settle down into the vegetation. And then also scent has to age a little bit. So you say that and people are like, well, my dog's chasing this pig and he's chasing him off a fresh scent. That's true. Once the trajectory is out there and the dog knows it's chasing this pig, he can pick up hotter scent than he can just picking up
from the start.
That's
just out of thin air.
Yeah.
That's because the dog's nose is adjusting. His olfactory senses are adjusting to the amount of scent that's available. So when a dog is following a track in the right direction, it's not a shock to his system. He's already picked up the scent here. He's running it to jump, and now that brain is so dynamic and so developed in the dog for their olfactory sense. It's like, okay, and now I'm in the jump area. So eventually it's like putting your hand in hot water. Okay. You put your hand in cold water and you turn the hot water on. When you first turn the hot water valve on, it's cool running on your hand. Then it warms up, and before you know it, it's hot on your hand. If you just stuck your hand under it right away, it would be you pull your hand out and you're like, damn, that's hot. But as it warms up to it, your senses start to figure that out. And it's like, okay, it's getting warmer. Your dog's nose works the same way. The scent is faint at first. It's getting stronger. His brain's adjusting to the whole thing. I'm getting closer. I'm in a jump. Boom, we're running. And now he's looking at that pig or that bear, whereas if we'd have dumped him out on it and he was looking at it, he wouldn't be able to run it, because we're dumping so much sensory overload on him at one time.
Yeah, and also when a dog's running an animal, he's going to be running a hot track.
Yep.
But he's also going to be cueing not totally off that track. He's going to be cueing off sound and sight. Yep. But if you just throw a dog on a hot track without that sight and that hearing, that's why they can run it backwards, because there's no age on that track, so they can't tell a difference between 3 minutes ago and right now. So that's how they tend to run it backwards.
Well, that's like if you take in that same sentence, what you're saying, like if you get a young dog that's on a track and he's running that track, and then the track's getting hotter and hotter and hotter to get the pig jump. So we're talking about pigs, and he's running the pig, and he's running it by sight. He's young. He's opening up a little bit. Well, the pig stretches out in front of him a little bit, and the pig gets a little bit of the lead on him, and the dog can't see the hog. He starts to lose it then. It'll start to fall apart some, especially in the young dog. These are just things that I've noticed. And I've had people like, well, my dog is jumping the hog and running the hog, but he can't finish the race. Like you said, that scent hasn't dissipated and laid down. Right? It hasn't aged. I mean, like we've got 5 million receptors in our nose. A dog has 200 million to 5 billion, so in their olfactory receptor. So it's when that scent is that hot, like you said, they can't just pull it out of thin air to start with. They have to have something where it's down to actually track it. So, Chris had in that training, in the canine training like that had to play a good part in understanding, like you said, the coon crossing the road and all that. So you can understand all that stuff a lot better than somebody who's never been around that. You understand what the scent pool is and how for it to lay, but a lot of guys cannot put together why they simply cannot catch that coon or that hog that just ran across the road. They cannot put that together.
Well, I mean, you said it. It's like with age. So how a dog knows he's running the right direction is because he's going from a weaker scent to a stronger scent. That's what lets him know he's running it the right direction. When you dump him on a super hot trail, that distinction between a lesser smell to a more of a smell isn't as great, and that's why they tend to run it backwards. It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing you can do to a dog is throw them on a hot trail, super hot trail.
Yep, 100%.
What does it say?
Yeah, Michael's got it figured out. Let them settle down, and then they may bay.
But I mean, it's just human nature, at least to me.
It absolutely is.
So me and Tanner, like I say, not too long ago, we're pulling into a place, getting ready to turn out, and like I said, we're just going to turn out totally cold. And Tanner goes, "Hog right there," and we shoot the spotlight on them. There's 15 hogs underneath the tree. You just can't help yourself. You put on the brakes, everybody gets out real quiet, you get the dogs, and you just can't.
Yep. This is gonna be it.
Even when you
epic.
When I know, like deep down, like this does not work. This is not good.
You gotta try it.
To our brain, it just makes sense,
Because we're visual. We're visual.
They're
animals.
right there.
The dog is a smelling odor, olfactory animal. We're visual.
You would think we would be cerebral enough to understand that we've done this 20 times and it hasn't worked. And
sometimes it works.
Michael's with you. Michael's with you. Dump the box head.
Hey, I don't care if I live to be 146. If we pull up and see pigs, I'm gonna dump the box.
we did it Saturday.
Then you go scream and yell and shock and everything else.
Yes, we did it Saturday. Damn, Schultz was running across the road, and I was like, "We don't need to drop. Shit, we dumped them all." And we knew what was going to happen. But like Ed said, we had a couple of young dogs in the box. We were just going to see if it would work this time.
We let the pigs settle.
Wait, they caught some little pigs out there, but the bigger hogs, they just kept on rolling. But like Ed said, if I'm 146 and they're sitting under the tree, I'm gonna sling them too. I can't help it. It's something that's hardwired into us, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
But like you were talking, you're talking earlier about people that don't come from hunting background that get into this. It does seem like they have a better grasp or a faster understanding of a lot of it.
It's because I think it's because they just don't have inhibitions really isn't the right word, but they don't have the preconceived ideas some of us have.
Yeah.
But we're pushing 2 hours. Let's go ahead and you want to wrap it up, Chris?
Yeah, Roy, ask me that question next week during the. We haven't got enough time for me to get into that question that you asked. So about
it's been fun, guys.
Oh man, it's been awesome.
It was fun. We should have held off on some of it, Ed. But
should we have?
No, I'm talking about before we started.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a great hour-long
course,
podcast. Nobody
That's
heard.
when all the best start. So we should have listened to Chris.
Well,
but Chris didn't tell us until after the fact.
That's right.
We'll get you back on here at some point.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Oh yeah.
Whenever y'all want to, just let us know. Now that we kind of know how to do
I'll let
this.
you know how that dog
Get
just
Nathan out of jail.
What's that?
I said we get Nathan out of jail over there. We'll get him in a
That's
a
right.
nice normal room.
There you go.
Guys,
Nathan,
we really appreciate it though, for real.
We wish you all the best, Nathan. It's a shame that Joey has not bailed you out yet.
That's what I'm saying.
Ain't got
Where can we send money for your commissary, Nathan?
Yeah.
I'll
Y'all
put my
help him out.
I'll put my Venmo up.
Yeah, y'all cash that mate $1 to the county jail.
Yeah, Nathan, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and put that link up so we can donate.
That's it.
Go
All
find
right, guys, we appreciate y'all.
You bet, Joey.
Thank you.
Like I said, we'll do it again.
All right, man. Y'all be good. We'll see you.
See y'all later.
All right.